Welcome back
Welcome.
to Flirting and Farting with the Shallahs, episode 3. I am LaBianca Shallah.
And I am Shakim Shallah.
And episode 3, navigating parenthood, from love to parenthood.
Yes.
We did not go in the traditional, how they say you're supposed to get married, then have the babies. Our son, who is 4 years old now,
Yeah.
Jaira, came in 2020.
Yeah, right in smack middle of COVID.
And though you think navigating COVID, being pregnant, you would think it would be a somber experience. It was very peaceful for me.
Yeah.
Outside of working at AYN.
Yeah.
So don't know if we need to mention the whole name.
No.
But we worked at a mental health facility while I was pregnant when COVID happened. So we were essential workers, essentially. And I worked there up until 8 months.
No.
I was pretty far along.
Yeah, it was eight. You know, about 8 months.
So that part of it was not the peaceful part. Being isolated and away from so many people was the peaceful part. However, it did come with its challenges, especially being an essential worker, being pregnant. It was one moment where when you work at a mental health facility with young children, we had children from ages
5 to 11.
And they came from all sorts of backgrounds, and some were violent. So it was very scary in the sense of not knowing and wanting to protect our unborn child. We both worked there, but we were not in the same houses. So I know it was probably stressful for you.
Yes, sure.
But it was definitely stressful for me. Thankfully, I had a amazing partner who fed me and made sure I was good, let me sleep whenever I needed to.
Because when we worked at AYN, we worked at third shift.
Poof.
So we worked from midnight till 8 in the morning. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the times, at the time, we was, in the process of building a business.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times we like to build business, business hours, from 5 after you get off work to about 10 or something like that. So we doing that, then have to take a little quick nap, a little hour or two nap, and then go into work at 12. So,
geez, I don't know how I was doing it.
Man, my sleep schedule was messed up. It was definitely a challenging time to find out. Matter of fact, I want to say LaBianca was off.
When you found out?
When we found out.
I was off.
Man, we didn't even know. Like, we found out, like, my aunt, you know how Black women are,
Intuitive.
Very intuitive. They dream about fish.
Somebody's pregnant.
That joint is real.
She had Aunt Charlotte had texts in the family group chat. Hey, I had a dream about fish.
Which one of y'all pregnant?
A week before I decided to take the test, and I was like, let me go take this test.
I was like, no, it ain't us. I know it ain't us. We can focus right now.
And I took the test at 12 a.m. when Shaquille was at work, and lo and behold,
she gave me a call at midnight. When I got in and I, went to the bathroom or whatever and took the call, and she was like, you're going to be a dad. My initial reaction to it was like a kid in high school when he get a girl pregnant.
Was it?
Yes. My first, I didn't let you know that, but my first reaction was like, oh snap. Like, I might have a child. Like, any and every anxiety you can think of when you're first about to have a child came up in that instance. Like, I think how we also kind of identified it was like, I had threw up one night while I was at work, and I never throw up.
No, you haven't never thrown up since we've been together.
And it was just kind of random because I was like, is it something I ate? So
that should have told us something was up.
Yeah. So when she did the test, she told me, and I was just like, wow. I'm about to be a dad, and every thought, like I said, ran through my mind about, being overwhelmed. Like I instantly got overwhelmed on top of being a caretaker for 6 other children at this facility. So it was scary. It was scary. And I think it was more so scary because she worked there, and the kids, like she said, they can be violent. So they have crisis moments, and anything can happen.
I didn't have to do my first hold until I was pregnant. My partner at the time said he forgot I was pregnant, though my stomach was protruding out. I had to do my first protective hold with the child when I was 5 months pregnant, and
Right.
thank God nothing happened. But it was a blessing in disguise because it led you to therapy. It led you to taking care of your mental health. Jaira coming into the world, I think it's a pivotal moment for you to really be like, I need to talk to somebody.
Right. Yeah. Because it's crazy that it's been a while since we went through this. But another thing, during our dating phase, I know I'm just kind of backpedaling a little bit, but in the dating phase, when I first moved to Charlotte, we was homeless. And I don't like using homeless because it
was more so couch surfing.
Yeah, we was, involuntary nomads. I put it that way. Like we was involuntary nomads.
I like that.
So we were stay, like when I first moved up here, well, I'm not even gonna get into that. I'm not gonna get into that. But so we was homeless. So when we found out we was pregnant, I think we was just at our first apartment that we finally got on our own. We was probably there for maybe a year.
Mm-hmm. We had just
got, settled in. We getting used to the routine of just being us.
We were still learning how not to live in one room.
Exactly. So, I think that all kind of came out whenever I found out we was having a child. I was like, wow. And we didn't even get to kind of live on our own in our own home, and but I think once I went to therapy, once I was doing the work on myself, me and her, we was spiritually aligned already. I think that kind of helped me kind of get into a space where I like, all right, I can do this. Like I can be a father to a child. I can raise them. And I'm not doing it alone, So, but it definitely has some moments.
Trying to think. I don't even think we were going on dates then.
Yeah. Like when our first child, Jaira, was born.
Or when we were pregnant. We were not
pregnant. We didn't go on, with COVID, you couldn't.
No.
But after COVID, once my son was born, it took us a while to it took us the second child to finally start going on
prioritizing dates. Yeah.
So,
but with Jaira,
it was just a lot of learning.
Yes.
With Ja, it was just a lot of learning how to coexist.
A lot of healing.
We had to learn how to coexist, not just with us, but with another being. They didn't give us no rule, no handbook or manual on how to do that, and still keep your relationship in together. So, but we had our challenges.
It also changed our conversations a little bit because though we were intentional about being together and building something of legacy, we were not sold on marriage. Our previous conversations was like, it's just a piece of paper. Why we gonna do that? So just from what we had seen from other people, because we didn't really get to know the ins and outs of other people's marriages. A lot of generations before us believe in keeping it close to the chest. You don't reveal too much about.
Parents are married even to this day.
Yeah. So marriage to us was unattractive. We didn't get what the hype was about until Jaira came, and then it's like things started coming in alignment. There was certain things on the news or certain celebrities going through court cases, having to fight for their rights over their say and their stake, and all types of stuff was going on that started cultivating and changing our conversation around what marriage looks like. I really am thankful that Ja came first because of that. Because we then understood that we could define marriage for what we wanted it to be. It didn't have to look like what we seen on reality TV, what we seen, the little peaks we could see from people I seen at church. Understanding that it is custom made toward what we desire. It changed that conversation.
And that'll be more so on another episode, when we
parenting is what led
us to these conversations about,
do we want to be married?
Yeah. On the legal aspect. Like, we see that as like, yeah, it's a piece of paper, but it also is a piece of paper that says, like, if I'm on life support, my wife, she knows my desires and all that.
Jaira changed those conversations.
Yeah.
It also helped us grow up a little bit more too, because when Jaira was coming to the world, we had a birth plan, but understanding as a birth doula, that birth plans not always go according to plan. Ours did not at all. Still to this day, we still have to unpack and heal from that experience, because when Jaira came into the world, our contractions were quick, but the process of dilation was not keeping up. So what was supposed to be a water birth,
and this was during going through the birthing process with y'all.
What was supposed to be a water birth ended up going drastically to an emergency C-section. And that was hard. We had to quickly make decisions on our behalf, on his behalf as adults. Like, what are we going to do? Because the last thing we wanted to do during COVID was go to the hospital. We ended up at the hospital. The last thing we wanted to do was have me end up getting cut open. We ended up having to get cut open. And then when we got to sit down and reflect on that experience, it was just a lot of quick growing up from love.
Each
and
decision was another step.
Yes, another layer of innocence, another layer of adulthood coming on. And when you become parents, you birth not only a child, but you're birthing a new version of yourself.
Right.
And we both birthed new versions of ourselves that we had to get to know. And keeping a child alive.
Yeah, because I know for me, like, another an anxiety that I was dealing with was, one of them was like, we're gonna lose our freedom. The freedom to.
I didn't know you felt like that.
Yeah, like the freedom of being able to just do our thing, and go whenever we felt like going, like just pick up and go. Now, and like I said, like, we were homeless at one point, so I didn't want to, like, now it was vital for us not to get back to that space, to be homeless again, because we had a child.
We were used to quitting jobs when we didn't like it.
Quitting jobs was nothing. Like, we could just leave and go. Like, it was nothing. But now with a child in play, you have to be a little bit more dependable on however you get income. You have to be a little bit more dependable on the security aspect because of it, and so I lost a layer of freedom, and
that's real.
The fact of being able to move and go whenever we felt like it.
Absolutely. Calendar planning has become essential as parents because of that. Because that gives you it wasn't as... No, but parenthood in general, like the second one taught us the necessity of sticking to a calendar. But with Jaira, I think it was a lot of growing up, a lot of healing, a lot of transitioning from being those naive teenagers.
Because I think, having job really brought out, like, dang, I really didn't have a pops, bro. Like, I don't remember having my dad, hold me at night when I was scared, or different things like that. Like, or having, I don't know. I just don't remember. I may have had them, but I don't remember. But it really
brought up a lot of uncertainty.
Evident. Yeah, very evident that, like, dang, like, am I really prepared for this? Like, but I really had to understand, like, this is why I went to therapy, to heal that side of me, and as well as myself, doing the work of my own. But
go get it. You can get it. I think the one thing that helped freed us was our birth doula and her partner, some of our spiritual leaders telling us our children come into the world to teach us more than we can ever teach them. And I think that's what really helped us too.
That freed us a lot.
Remembering that every day, because they are teaching us more than we can teach them. Yes, we're helping them grow into adults, but they're also helping us grow into adults.
They're basically little mirrors.
Definitely. They bring up every insecurity, every uncertainty, everything that you thought you knew. And transitioning from just being lovebirds to parents just takes it to a whole nother notch. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the first one, we had a lot of growing up. There was another instance where, we find out Ja had a tumor on his liver. He was 2. You get some news like that, like every thought going on in your mind, but you're positive, but at the same time you're negative.
And I was pregnant.
And she was pregnant with number 2.
Yeah, what's wrong? What's the matter, baby?
Yeah, she was pregnant with number 2. And that's another thing we're still healing from. Life isn't gonna go like you wanted to go all the time. And I think we know that.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes we forget that. Like, that's why it's so evident. That's one thing I had to learn to do, is be present. Like, you really have to ask yourself the questions like, am I thinking about work? Am I present? If you're not present, like, you're not only going to miss what's going on, but of course, that's why you would experience anxiety and different things like that, because you weren't present.
Mommy fix it. Really? Mommy will fix the TV. But yeah.
Give us a second, Mama.
But I think that covers episode 3.
Yeah.
Are we on 3? What number are we on?
It's 3. But I do also, I feel like we should give something practical. I don't know if there's anything practical to give. It's really just being, okay, I got something. Like, get comfortable in being unbalanced. And whenever you having a child, because the balance you once knew doesn't exist no more.
I would even go further and say, I just recently seen a Facebook friend, and one of our wives from the marriage group, she said she learned that life was more, and marriage was more than about balance and more about harmony.
For sure.
Less about balance and more about harmony. So it's more so finding your flow. It's more so allowing things to find their rhythm.
Because life is going to be chaotic with a child in the picture, especially coming off of when it's just y'all, it was just y'all 2. Like, adding that one component is definitely going to seem chaotic. And
I also think doing the work. I think if you take your mental health in consideration before kids, does wonders for when they get here. Yes. Because in order to help them learn how to regulate emotions and help them grow, you have to do the healing and do the work too. A lot of us parenting our kids is reparenting ourselves. That's what a lot of this journey has been for us, is that little LaBianca, that little Shakim doing the things that they might have needed, or unlearning some of those things. So yeah, that's episode 3.
Yeah, of that one.
Yeah.
Thank you.